Okay, so this record right here is on literacy. This is our record for literacy for today. And you can see what I've got up here on the board. Okay, so I've got a sort of a quad-Venn diagram, right? A four-part Venn diagram right there. And really the goal is improve and practice all forms of literacy. And as we've gone over already, literacy is reading, writing, and academics or education, right? Formal education. That is literacy. That is literacy, right? To read is to practice literacy. To write is to practice literacy. And of course, we know that writing is both reading and writing at the same time because you're reading what you're writing as you're writing it. Okay. So we've got a couple of components here that are important that are all part of literacy. Okay. There's the mind. Right? You've got to use the mind to understand what you're reading, to understand how to write. You've got to use the mind to think and have ideas and thoughts of things to write, and then to actually write those things. So you've got to have a mind to do that. You've got to have eyes, right? You've got to have eyes to see what you are reading, right? To see the words, the print on the computer screen or on the paper in the book, or in the newspaper, whatever form or medium you're using to practice your literacy. You've got to have eyes to see that. Okay, and there's the actual literacy itself, right? The reading or the writing or the attending classes and the formal education. Okay, that's a component there. And then of course nowadays I've really included computer literacy, and you can see this is actually the biggest circle on the diagram because computer literacy is becoming more increasingly important, especially in higher academics and the like. Okay, some people have Nooks or e-readers, some people use laptops or iPads or tablet devices. Some people use their smartphones, things like that, or their PC, right? So computer literacy is becoming an increasingly important form of literacy, right? There's a lot of text in print that can be accessed on computers electronically, and it's important to practice computer literacy and to understand computer literacy and to be very fluent in computer literacy, okay? But really it's a combination of all these four things really that's important. Right, the mind and the literacy and the eyes and the computers and the electronic literacy. Right, these four things come together to really improve and enhance modern literacy today. Right, you've got to have eyes for seeing, a mind for understanding and knowing, for processing and digesting, and then the actual literacy, the actual skill of reading and understanding the symbols and the words and the letters and the characters, and the electronics nowadays, the computers, the internet, the electricity, sources available, the internet sources available. You have to be fluent in those things to really be a very literate person, to really truly, grasp and command and excel and be successful with literacy and in literacy. Okay, so all forms, improve it and practice all forms of literacy. Okay, now I've got some notes here. Study literature, right? Study it, look at it with the eyes and the mind. Use your mind and your eyes to look at and to study and to see the literature, to see the words, to understand them, the symbols, the designations, the characters. Study that with the eyes and the mind. And it improves the eyes and the mind. It improves the mind and life and things like that. So to study literature is important. Actually, study it is very important. Pursue academics, right? I've got a pretty cool professor, and she says, get with the program. Come on, get with the program, right? That is to pursue academics. Okay, go to school. Go take a class at community college. Go enroll in your local university, right? Go get a bachelor's degree, get a master's degree. Go to med school, right? Go get an MBA, right? Pursue academics, absolutely pursue academics, okay? Pursue academics, get with the program. Academics is amazing, it's very inclusive these days. There's all sorts of people in academics practicing the literacy. There's transgender people, there's people of color, there's homosexuals, LGBTQ people, there's short people, fat people, tall people, white people, dark people, handicapped people, disabled people, mentally disordered people. Right? There's all sorts of people in academics. It's very easy to pursue academics, and there's a lot of funding, especially for the undergraduate level, for the associate degree level, and for the bachelor degree level. There's a lot of government funding, Pell Grants, and things like that. There's a lot of government funding for getting with the program and pursuing academics. Okay? So that's really important to do. That's really important to do. Okay? Next, of course, is to read and to write. Just read and write. Get a book, any book, read it. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, write. Write whatever you want. Write anything, write everything. Write. Just write, you know? I got a cardboard bag over here, you know? Rip off a scrap of this and write some notes. Right? That's writing. That's writing. Just write. You know, actually, I was when I was in jail. Actually, there was brown bags. I think there was like cardboard. I had scraps of cardboard from the lunch boxes, and I would take the scraps of cardboard and I would write on them, right? Because that's what I had to write. I was running out of paper. I didn't have much paper, and there was cardboard around, so I took scraps of cardboard and I would write on the cardboard, right? And I wrote just to write, because I like to write, you know, because I like to practice my literacy, and so I did that, right? And that was in a unique situation. So, you know, you could be anywhere, and you could probably find the tools to write. You know, say you're on a beach somewhere, write your name in the sand. It's writing. Practice your literature. Wherever you are, practice that literature. Practice your writing. Okay, read and write. And of course, to write is also to read, because you are seeing what you are writing, and this you are reading as you are writing. Okay, so literature is important. Read and write. Read and write. Read and write. Read and write. Okay. Next, of course, we get more detail as I go down here on the board. Of course, we've got to use thy eyes and mind to view and write letters, words, sentences, etc. That's basically a reiteration of what I was saying with this writing. Use your eyes, right? Your eyes and your mind, to view, to see, to know, to understand, and write, right? Use your mind to think thoughts and ideas of good literature to write down, and then to actually write it down. Use your mind to develop that writing, to hone your writing, to improve your writing. Okay? And, you know, write letters, words, sentences, etc., paragraphs, articles, chapters, books, emails, communications, text messages. Use your eyes and your mind to view and to write those things. Write and read. Use your eyes and your mind as your chief components to do so. Okay? And, of course, within the mind, the thoughts and ideas within the mind. Discipline the thoughts and ideas so that the thoughts and ideas are thoughts and ideas that understand what you're reading and are producing good quality things to write, good merited things to write, and then write those things. Hone and discipline your thoughts and ideas in your mind to do that. Okay? Now, again, use that eyes and mind chiefly. Chiefly use your eyes and your mind, chiefly, to practice the skill of literacy. Right? To practice the skill of literacy. Again, this is just an emphasis of the first one up here. Your eyes and your mind are the chief components for understanding literature, for digesting literature, for reading and for writing. The eyes and the mind are chief components. Of course, we've got the hands. We can go into the physicality of the nervous system and the muscles and the tissues that are necessary for writing or typing in the keyboard, or however you may be producing your literature. Okay? But chiefly, it is the eyes, the visual system, and the mind. Then we have habitually and routinely drill thy literary skills. Habitually and routinely drill the literary skills. Right? Every night before you go to bed, grab a book, read a couple pages. Right? It's not uncommon for some men or some women to keep a Bible by their nightstand and to read that. In a lot of hotels around here in America, there's Bibles in the nightstand. You can pick them up and you can just read a couple pages if you're at a hotel. That's an example of that, where you can habitually and routinely read. Right? Subscribe to the newspaper. Right? Subscribe to the New York Times or your local paper. Or, you know, join a book club. Right? Or subscribe to Reader's Digest. Right? Things like that. Subscribe to some magazines, maybe. You know, whatever you're interested in. You know, hunting. Get some hunting magazines. You like LGBTQ news? There's plenty of LGBTQ publications that you can subscribe to, right? You like outdoors? Get some sort of outdoor adventure magazine subscription. You like beauty, cosmopolitan, etc. So habitually and routinely drill your literary skills and actually pick up that book, pick up that article, pick up that e-reader, pick up that tablet, pick up the computer, and read. And actually go and find sources to read and read those sources. Actually do it. Use your mind. Again, this mind component to catalyze your body into action to actually go and to read. Okay? And that's part of that habit of reading, that habit of practicing literature, that habit of routinely practicing literature. Or if you're a writer, right, which I think is even better than just reading somebody else's work. I think actually writing is much more merited. It's got a in the law, there's patent law, right? And in patent law, to be an inventor is to be more esteemed, is to be an esteemed person, a celebrated person in America. And writing is one of the things that constitutes an invention, right? You can invent good writing, right? Authors, when they write a book that's never been written before or never been put together and compiled in the way that they've done so before, that is considered by law a form of an invention, right? It can be copyrighted. See, it's protected by these patent and trademark laws. And as a result, that means that by the law, writing, original writing especially, is more merited and celebrated than just reading somebody else's work. So I always encourage writing. So make writing a habit. Make it a routine, right? Every night before you go to bed. Some people read a couple pages of the Bible, or you can sit there with your notepad and take some notes. Write a couple sentences. Write a paragraph. Right? Make that a habit. Write things down. Write or type. Keep an e-journal. Keep a log. You can create a website and post a daily blog, etc. You just read and write, make it a habit, and do it routinely. Okay. Next, we have be a responsible and caring owner of literary instruments. That is books, papers, documents, pens, pencils, markers, computers, etc. Also tablet devices, e-readers, newspapers. Right? Be responsible and caring as an owner of these instruments of literature, these literary instruments. Care for them, be responsible for them, maintain them, organize them, keep them neat and clean. Care for your literary instruments. Care for the books. Don't damage the books. Care for the books. Documents. Organize the documents. Care for the documents. Archive the documents. Respect the documents. Respect the literary instruments. This whiteboard is an example of a literary instrument. I use it to write. I use it to express literature. And I use these markers as well. And this means be responsible and caring. I have to be a responsible and caring owner for this marker, for this whiteboard. You see? Be responsible and caring. Be a responsible and caring owner for your literature. And that's really important. When it comes to writing especially, writing is such an original property. It's such an original property of the author, whatever it may be. It could be a note on on a scrap of that paper bag that I just displayed earlier. If you can, file it away in an organized manner. Keep track of it, right? Take a picture, put it on your hard drive, right? Or get a filing cabinet, put it in the filing cabinet. Organize that writing, right? And that's part of being a responsible and caring owner of your literature. It really is. Okay? Now, of course, this last one down here, sort of inspired by my grandfather. He's got a boat, about a 30-foot boat or so, that he's had for decades. And the name of the boat is the Intrepid, after an American aircraft carrier. But intrepid, in the dictionary, means basically it's a synonym to endurance, or enduring, right? A long enduring thing, a strong thing, right? So here I write, practice intrepid endurance in literary pursuits. And that's sort of a double play on endurance, or their synonyms, intrepid and endurance being basically synonyms. But I was able to double play those to further increase the effectiveness of this conveyance. So practice intrepid endurance in literary pursuits. Practice intrepid endurance in literary pursuits, which means be strong and go long and be enduring in your literary pursuits. If you're writing, write for a long time and write strongly. Don't stop. Keep writing. If you're reading, read for a long time. Read strongly and don't stop. Excel for long, high endurance, high performance periods of time, lengths in literary pursuits, reading and writing, okay, and understanding. Okay, intrepid endurance, be intrepid about literature, be enduring about literature. Don't give up on the literature, don't fail the literature, don't quit the literature, keep going with the literature. Keep going, keep reading, keep writing, keep organizing your writing, keep putting your works together, and you'll be rewarded. You will be rewarded. There's great rewards and satisfaction in literature. It's a very rewarding and satisfying pursuit. Okay? So, with that, I'm going to journal my record for today on literature. Thank you.